People might think I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But you know what's crazier? Watching people throw away what could have been everything because they couldn't see past their own ignorance. It's like giving someone a golden key, and they toss it in the gutter because it doesn't shine bright enough. That's the world we live in. And guess what? You've played a part in it too. Don't deny it. I see it in your eyes. The regret, the anger, the questions you ask yourself every night. Why did they leave? Why did I lose? Was I not enough? Let me stop you right there. It's not about being enough. It's about them not seeing the value of what they had. Their ignorance turned diamonds into dust. They didn't lose you because of your flaws. They lost you because they couldn't appreciate your worth. And now, you're here, drowning in the mess they left, holding the ashes of something you didn't even burn. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. But life's like that. It throws you into fires someone else started and expects you to walk out smiling. People act selfless, but deep down, they're selfish. They'll hold on to you when you're useful, when you make their lives better. But the moment you stumble or dim, they'll toss you aside like garbage. Here's an example. Imagine a man with a rose garden. He waters it, trims it, talks to the flowers like they're his children. But one day, he skips watering them, then another. Soon the roses wither. Instead of blaming himself, he blames the roses. He rips them out and replaces them with plastic flowers. That's how people treat those they claim to love. They neglect them. And when things fall apart, they shift the blame. The worst part? They don't realize what they've done until it's too late. Ignorance blinds them until the silence becomes deafening, until the void they created swallows them whole. Then they look for what they lost, but by then, it's gone. You're gone, and all they're left with is the echo of your absence. Meanwhile, you're stuck here, letting their actions define you. You're holding on to the idea of them, not the reality. You're clinging to memories that meant everything to you, but were just fleeting moments to them. Here's the truth. No one's coming to save you. Not them, not anyone else. If you want change, you have to make it happen. Stop waiting for people to realize your worth because most never will. People don't value what they have until it's gone. So, what's your next move? Will you sit here crying over their ignorance? Or will you stand up and show them what they lost? Show them their actions didn't break you. They forged you. Their betrayal didn't shatter you. It sharpened you. Pain is a tough teacher, but it reveals your strength. It shows you who you are when the world tries to tear you apart. One day, they'll regret it. Maybe not now, but eventually, they'll realize what they threw away. They'll see you standing tall, unbroken, and the weight of their choices will crush them. But by then, it won't matter to you. You'll have moved on, found your strength, and built a better life. And they'll be left with nothing but memories of what could have been. Stop letting their blindness define your worth. You are not their mistake. You are the fire that rises from the ashes. Their ignorance turned diamonds into dust. But you decide what happens next. Will you let their actions dim your light, or will you rise brighter than ever? The choice is yours. Whatever you do, make sure they remember the day they lost you. Let your absence speak louder than their silence ever did. Some people take and take, thinking they'll appreciate you later, thinking they'll turn around one day and say, I see you, I value you. But they never do. They're too blind, too wrapped up in their own reflection. And here's the irony. The moment you stop holding that umbrella, the moment you step away and let them feel the storm, that's when they notice. That's when they realize what they had. But by then, it's too late. The damage is done. The storm passes, but the cold emptiness stays with them forever. And you're left wondering why you stood there at all. People don't value consistency. They don't appreciate loyalty until it's gone. It's like air. They don't notice it until they're gasping for it. You were their air, their steady presence, their comfort. But instead of cherishing it, They suffocated you with indifference. Now, they're choking on the absence they created. This hurts because deep down, you believed in them. You thought they were different, that they saw you for who you really were. But they didn't. They saw a tool, a convenience, something to use. When you no longer fit their needs, they discarded you. They made you feel small and insignificant, like you were the problem all along. But let me tell you something. You are not the problem. You never were. They were too weak to handle you, too blind to see your worth. Now they're stuck in their little world of regrets, trying to convince themselves they made the right choice. But you and I both know the truth. They lost. They lost someone who cared, someone who kept trying, even when it hurt. And that kind of loss is irreplaceable. When people finally realize what they've lost, it breaks them. Oh, they'll put on a brave face, act like they're fine, but inside they're falling apart. They'll search for you in everyone they meet, but no one else will compare. What you gave wasn't just attention, it was a piece of your soul. That's something they'll never find again. So why are you letting their failure become your burden? Why do you let their blindness define you? They didn't see your worth. That's on them, not you. You are not their mistake, not their failure. You are stronger than that. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt is shaping you, forging you into someone stronger than they'll ever be. You are the storm they couldn't survive, the fire they couldn't put out. One day, they'll see you. Oh, they'll see you. They'll realize how badly they messed up. But by then, it won't matter. You'll have moved on, risen above their ignorance, their blindness, their games. Right now, you have two choices. Sit here drowning in their failure, letting their ignorance consume you, or stand up, walk out of the darkness, and show the world what they lost. Show them you're not defined by their mistakes. You're not a victim. You're a fighter. Fighters don't let the weak bring them down. They rise. They fight. They conquer. What's it going to be? Will you let their ignorance win? Or will you take back your power, your life, your worth? The choice is yours. But remember this. Their ignorance turned what they had into what they lost. That loss is their burden, not yours. The world is watching. Make sure they never forget what they lost when they let you go. Here's something you should know. When you walk away, they'll rewrite history to suit their narrative. They'll tell everyone, oh, they were too much. They changed. They weren't who I thought they were. Lies. All of it. They'll twist the truth because facing their own failure is too hard. But they can't outrun the truth forever. It catches up. And when it does, it breaks them. They'll sit there surrounded by their lies, drowning in the mess they made. And for the first time, they'll see it. They'll see you, not as the person they left, but as the person they'll never have again. Regret has a funny way of creeping in. It doesn't knock or announce itself. It just settles in like a shadow, haunting every thought. Every smile they see will remind them of yours. Every voice will echo with your words. And no matter how much they try to move on, they'll always feel the emptiness you left behind. But here's the truth you need to hear. Their regret is not your redemption. Their guilt doesn't make you whole. You don't need their apologies or explanations. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you take. It's standing up, looking at the wreckage they left and saying, I'm done. Done waiting for them to see your worth. Done letting their failures define you. Done giving them the power to control your story. You know what makes you dangerous? It's not your strength or your resilience. It's your silence. The way you take the pain, the betrayal, the heartbreak, and carry it quietly until it becomes something stronger. They think you're broken, lying in the ashes they left you in. But you're not, are you? No. You're waiting, building, becoming. Every wound, every scar, every tear is a piece of the armor you're forging. And when you rise, they won't know what hit them. Rising doesn't mean going back to them or proving anything to them. It's about proving it to yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing someone who survived, someone who didn't let the world break them. That kind of strength is something they'll never understand. You're not the first to feel this emptiness, this rage, this need to make sense of it all. But let me save you some time. There is no sense to it. People don't leave because you're too much. They leave because they're too little. They don't betray you because you failed. They do it because they failed. And the sooner you stop trying to understand their actions, the sooner you'll find peace. You gave them everything, and they threw it away. That's on them, not you. You are not their failure. You are what's left when their ignorance burns everything else down. You are the phoenix rising from the ashes of their mistakes. Real power doesn't come from what you have. It comes from what you've lost. Loss teaches you lessons you'd never learn otherwise. It strips you bare, takes everything you thought you needed, and leaves you with only yourself. That's where the real transformation begins. You don't need them. You don't need anyone who couldn't see your worth. What you need is to see it for yourself. Stop waiting for someone to validate you, to love you. The moment you stop needing their approval, you take back your power. They'll come back. People like them always do. They'll realize what they lost and beg for another chance. And you'll have a choice. Let them back in and risk losing yourself again, or close the door and let them live with the consequences. Choose wisely. But whatever you do, remember this. Their ignorance turned what they had into what they lost. That loss is theirs to carry, not yours. Don't let them back in. Don't let their regret undo the progress you've made. People don't change just because they feel bad. They change when they face the consequences of their actions. By the time they come back, it'll be too late. You'll have moved on. You'll have grown into someone greater than they ever deserved. You are not their victim. You are not their mistake. You are the storm they couldn't handle, the fire they couldn't put out. One day, they'll sit alone, drowning in regret. They'll feel the emptiness left behind when they let you go. But you'll be soaring, unbreakable, untouchable. Take all this pain, anger, and betrayal and turn it into strength. Rise from the ashes of their ignorance. Show the world what it means to be unstoppable. You've always had that strength within you. Now is the time to show it. It's strange, isn't it? How people can have everything they've ever wanted and still destroy it. It's like holding a glass of water in a desert and pouring it out onto the sand. They don't realize what they have, or maybe they're too scared to appreciate it. Fear drives them. Fear of being vulnerable. Fear of admitting they need you. So they sabotage. They push you away. They call it freedom, but it's cowardice. They'll convince themselves they're better off without you. They'll tell themselves you were the problem. But deep down, they know the truth. They know they threw away something they'll never find again. Don't think they're unaware of what they lost. They know. They just won't admit it. Not until the silence becomes deafening. Not until they're left staring at a world that feels colder and darker without you in it. When that moment comes, it'll hit them hard. The regret, the weight of their choices, the realization of what they've done. It'll crush them. They'll try to replace you, of course. That's what people like them do. They'll look for you in every smile, every voice, every shadow. But they won't find you. What you gave them was real. And real is rare. Real is irreplaceable. When they figure that out, it'll destroy them. But don't let it destroy you. Don't sit here waiting for them to wake up and see the truth. Their regret isn't your victory. Your victory is moving on, rising above, and becoming something they can't even comprehend. Let go of the idea that their understanding will bring you peace. It won't. Peace comes from within. You don't need them. You never did. Pain doesn't disappear completely. It leaves scars. But those scars aren't weaknesses. They're proof of survival. Every mark, every bruise, every tear is a testament to your strength. Those scars remind you of the fire you walked through and the fact that you came out the other side still standing. When people see those scars, they'll know you're not someone to mess with. You're someone who has been through hell and come back stronger. As for them, They'll see those scars and feel the weight of their regret. They'll know they caused those cracks, those wounds. But don't mistake their regret for redemption. Regret doesn't mean they've changed. People like that don't change because they feel bad. They change when they face the consequences of their actions. By the time that happens, you'll be long gone. Their apologies, their excuses, their attempts to make amends, they won't mean a thing. The goal isn't revenge. It's not about making them regret what they did. It's about proving to yourself that you can rise above it. It's about building a life so full, so strong, that their regret can't touch you. You don't need their validation or acknowledgement. What you need is to see yourself for what you truly are, a force to be reckoned with. You are not their failure. You are not their mistake. You are the fire they couldn't control, the storm they couldn't survive. One day, when they're sitting in the emptiness they created, they'll finally understand what they lost. But by then, you'll be free. You'll be soaring, and there'll be nothing but a memory. They'll sit with their regret, replaying every moment, every choice, every word left unsaid. It'll destroy them. They'll realize they didn't just lose you. They lost the version of themselves that could have been better, the version that didn't ruin everything. But here's the truth. They don't deserve that version of you. They never did. They don't deserve the you who stayed up at night wondering what more you could do to make them happy. They don't deserve the you who sacrificed and gave everything, only to be thrown away. No matter what you did, no matter how hard you tried, it was never about you. It was always about them, their ignorance, their blindness, their selfishness. You paid the price for their flaws. You gave pieces of yourself you'll never get back. But here's the thing. It didn't go wrong. It went exactly as it was supposed to. Some people don't know how to hold on to something real, and that's not your fault. It's theirs. You think you're broken. You think their betrayal left you shattered. But broken doesn't mean weak. Broken means you've been through something that should have destroyed you, but it didn't. You're still here. You're still breathing, still standing, still fighting. And that's what makes you dangerous. People who've been broken know things others don't. They know how to survive. They know how to endure. And most importantly, they know how to rise. Rising isn't about revenge. It's not about proving them wrong or making them regret what they did. Rising is about proving something to yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing someone who didn't let the world destroy them. Someone who took the pain, the loss, the betrayal, and turned it into power. You want to know the real revenge? It's not watching them suffer. It's not hearing their apologies or seeing their regret. The real revenge is living a life so full, so unbreakable, that their absence doesn't even matter. It's showing them that they didn't destroy you. They transformed you. And that transformation? It's something they'll never be able to touch. Don't wait for their validation. Don't wait for their regret. They'll regret losing you, that's inevitable. But their regret is meaningless. It doesn't bring you peace. Peace comes from realizing you don't need them. You never did. You needed to see your own worth, to know that you are enough, all on your own. So stop waiting. Stop hoping they'll wake up and realize what they lost. Because they will. Oh, they will. But by the time they do, you'll be untouchable. You'll be unbreakable. You'll have risen far beyond their reach. And they'll be left with nothing but their regret, their guilt, and the stories they tell themselves to feel better. You are not their victim. You are not their mistake. You are the fire they couldn't extinguish, the storm they couldn't weather. And one day, when they're sitting in the wreckage of their own making, they'll look for you. But you won't be there. You'll be free, soaring above the ashes of their ignorance. And that freedom, that's your legacy. That's your power. You've heard it all. Now it's your turn. Stop waiting, stop hoping, and take control. Rise above the ashes of their ignorance and show the world what you're made of. Remember, you are not defined by their failures. You are defined by your strength, your resilience, and your ability to rise stronger than before. Let them live with their regret, while you move forward, unbreakable and unstoppable. If this message spoke to you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and truths that ignite your strength and inspire your journey. And if this resonated with you, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's rise together.